Hi everyone, welcome. Oh wait. Hi everyone, welcome to today's podcast where everyday people are talking. Hi everyone. I just no wait. Hi everyone. Hi everyone. No. Wait. Hello everyone. No. Hi everyone. No. Hi everybody. No. wait, no. I'm trying to read this. No, I'm trying to read my note. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's podcast where we are everyday people talking about life-changing topics. And today's topic, we are talking about the beatitudes, and the verse that we are going to be discussing today is chapter 5 of Matthew, verse 7. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Does anybody have anything to share, or what is it to have mercy?
I'll go ahead and start if you guys are okay with that. Mercy means showing compassion, forgiveness, kindness, even when someone doesn't deserve it. Ooh.
Mic drop.
Ooh, I was like, so I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything on mercy, but I can tell you that it's very challenging to do that. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'm not there. My sister has something that she says like, oh, please forgive me, God, I'm still swimming in the Jordan. So I was like, okay. So there's times when I have like used that because I'm like, I don't mean to not show mercy. There's just some situations where you just stand back and like, God, I'm going to let you take the wheel, and I'm not going to say or think because of some people.
Honestly, I feel like when you guys are talking about like this one being a hard one, like there's certain things like, because I struggle with other things, but like as far as mercy, I feel like there's a realization of, I know where I was without God, and I know in light of like what Jesus did for me, I didn't deserve what he did for me. And so for me, I think of like, who am I to pass judgment on this other person? So that's my go-to thought whenever I feel like I want to lash out, which it takes a lot out of me to like want to like bite back. But even then, I think of like, man, I'm no better than you. And if that makes sense. And I've been thinking a lot about like heaven and that day of judgment. And if he says here, blessed are the ones that are merciful, for you obtain mercy, I'm going to take every chance I can get to show mercy, because that day it terrifies me, but I'm excited at the same time, because I feel like, you don't know how things are playing out or whatever. I don't know. It's just, for me, I'd rather show mercy and hope that, where God says that I'll experience the same thing up there. So
and I understand that, Gio. I understand that God showed me mercy.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to show that type of mercy to others. I totally understand that. I just say that for me, it's very challenging when you have a person in power, quote unquote.
yeah.
And that person is not showing mercy. It's very difficult for me to show mercy and be kind. I'll still do it. Like, I'm still kind, and if I have to talk to him, I will be, respectful, but it's very challenging for me to do that. So that's what I meant.
Would you say that it's more of a challenge going up or down? Meaning people in authority or people?
In general,
Okay.
for me, because I can see somebody that's very humble, and when they do something that's not righteous or pleasing to God, I'll say like abuse a child, like, I'm supposed to show that person mercy. I'm supposed to sit in that room and be kind and compassionate to that person when you just hurt that child, with a child that couldn't defend themselves and couldn't even speak up for themselves. How do you sit in that place and show that person mercy?
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah.
So that's what I mean when I say I struggle. Everybody else, I'm good. I can show you mercy.
I think, to be fair, I don't think I've been in that situation. I think that is like, it will take more out of you to like show that. So I've never been that, not that I can remember I've been in that situation. So I definitely agree to like, I see it is as being harder in those situations for sure. And like your situation, Mary, that you brought up, because we're talking about having compassion, and mercy being is it like a passive or is it like active? Meaning like if you were to treat someone with this like respect, say like someone badmouths you and like you're in the position to lash back, or I don't know if
retaliate.
If you were to just treat them like, even though it goes against how you feel, is it just your mere actions on how you're treating them, or is it like the heart? If that makes sense.
I think it has to be the heart, because the other ways you could be two-faced, where you're putting up a front to assume a position that your heart is not feeling. You know what I mean? And kind of be fake where it's not genuine. Yeah. I think at the heart of this, I think it's amazing how he says, if you show mercy, you're going to get mercy. Not all of these beatitudes did he do that, but this particular one, in other words, I almost hear it this way: you're going to need mercy, so you better be merciful. That's almost another way of saying what he said, because you are going to need it. Yeah. But I think that at the end of the day, I know we always say the word posture, but it's like your heart's attitude. Is it coming from a place that you genuinely want to give out this mercy, or do you just want to show face mercy?
Yeah, because
I think that's, I don't know if that kind of answers what the question.
Because I'm thinking of Jonah and how he didn't want to talk to Nineveh. Right?
The people of Nineveh?
Yeah, the people of Nineveh, because he was mad at them. And he didn't want God to forgive them. So that's why he ran away. He was like, I know you're loving God, so I don't want to give them a heads up like, hey, repent. And so for him to actually walk it out and actually go through with it, despite him being swallowed up by a whale, like it took a lot for him to do it. Was that him being merciful, or was that just? Does that make sense?
If I had to pick, I would probably say he did it more out of obedience and not so much mercy. That's just me. Just a quick glance at it, I would probably say he got tired of being disobedient. So let's just get this thing done, so that God could go ahead and show His forgiveness. But I don't know if he was overflowing with mercy for the people of Nineveh. That's just from the outside looking in briefly.
So and. To answer kind of your question, I spend a lot of time in the world. Like I spend more time that I wished that I didn't have to spend in the world and with people of the world. So I believe that I show them mercy, but it's not me. It's not in my own strength. And I know that it's not in my own strength. I know that I do things out of obedience because I love to be obedient to God. But mercy for me it's even more. I think it's doing more than I'm called to do, because nobody sees it. It's just between obedient. You're going to see me go and pick her up and take her and get her gas in her car. Like that I feel is obedient, and I'm doing it and others can see it. Mercy, I believe, is between me and God. And like, did I show that person compassion? Did I show them kindness? And was it authentic? Because when I sit there, I'll use another example. If I have to sit there and I know that this person did, I know that they're lying. I'm talking now that this is going up. This is an official that they did wrong. And I have to sit there and it's like, okay, God, when I have to go before this person, like, give me the strength that I'm going to need, because I don't know what to do and I don't know how to deal with this. I don't even know how to speak to this person. But going in there, I can shake their hand, smile, and say, I'm here. Help me. I'm here. And how can I help the situation? How can I better support whatever's going on? And I genuinely mean that, because I want this person to get better. I want them to realize that what they did was wrong. Yeah. So I genuinely do it in that way. But then when I leave, I tend to do this, Pastor Tony, don't judge me. Like, oh, how can people deal with them? Yeah. So it was like, I was being merciful in the moment, but when I leave, it just tugs at my heart. Like, how can people be like that? But it's like God showed me mercy, and I was like, one of those people that I'm sure others look down on. Yeah. So it's showing that same compassion is just very challenging. Yeah.
But would you say though? I don't think being angry, like you showed compassion and mercy in there it was the courtroom?
Yeah, a lot of times it's either in the courtroom or it's sitting down in therapy rooms or whatever.
So when you walk out and you're feeling that anger, like how could people be like that? Mm-hmm. Would you say it's more of a righteous anger, or would you say it's more of a fleshly anger, like a hate towards the person? Because I would say there's a difference between being angry at someone, like, wow, how could people be like this, Lord? Because I believe God gets angry at
Yeah, with
sin
some of
and
our-
when we're
yeah.
sinning and doing, people that are doing evil. So I feel like there's a righteous anger that you can have without sinning. And then there's that anger that, like, in other words, you're hating what God hates, and you're loving what God loves. So would you say it's more righteous, or would you say it's more like?
Well, as we covered earlier, under righteousness, it has to be right with God. So to walk away and judge somebody, I don't have that right to judge somebody. So
Right.
I don't believe that it's righteous.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's why I have to go and I repent. And it's like, I don't want to feel these feelings, but I'm, again, human and I don't know how. So it's going, I spend a lot of time in my alone closet because I don't know how to deal with all these feelings on my own. So it's having to go and empty out and be like, I want to be more like you. I really do. It's just that people are not anything like you. So it's like, how do you deal with those types of people? But like I said, he dealt with me and I wasn't the best. So now it's me having to, but I'm like, God, he's really testing me. He puts me in a lot of places where like, there's a lot going on and you just like look at these people and you're like, how could you do this? Like how, and you just have to sit there and be supportive.
Yeah.
Yes.
When I was looking up merciful, it was saying that it's like a caregiver to an animal that's injured.
Yeah.
So when you're showing mercy, there's a tenderness
Yeah.
and a compassion at work that you're giving to tend for somebody or something that can't really provide for itself. And that was kind of like the word picture that it came with when it came to being merciful. So I think, to have that heart throughout, a genuine heart attitude like that, I think is where God wants us to be more than to turn around and get frustrated afterwards. And we all do it. We all do it. It's not just you, Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, Jill. And I believe, Pastor, it is a brokenness. And that's what I think that's why I'm able to work with so many people, because I see past what I'm looking at and I look at the brokenness.
Yeah.
I didn't come to Christ because I was whole and holy and everything was good. I came because I was so broken. And a lot of times I'm able to see past the individual into the trauma. I'm like, God, what did they put you through for you to be doing this to somebody else? So then it's working at that level. So I can find mercy, but it doesn't mean that I stay in that merciful place.
Yeah.
When I walk away, I'm like, how can you? Like, if you could just get God in your heart, you would never repeat this again.
Yeah. But it's amazing how you could turn around and look at, you're in search of the cause. God showed me the cause of this and helped me not to focus on the effects of all that it created because of the root issue.
Yeah.
So that part's an amazing aspect to go into a situation and choose to focus on that, to keep your heart and your attitude in alignment so that you could, do what you need to do and bring justice to that situation.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this too, especially on this particular one about, that be merciful because you're going to need it is, and all of these, Jesus is turning around and saying, look, if you want to walk like me and resemble God in your life, this is what you need to do. And this is not just what your behavior is supposed to do, but this is what your heart should look like by doing these things. And I just thought it was amazing because in Luke, it says, be merciful just as your Father is merciful. So he's trying to say, like, if you can do this, you'll be resembling your Heavenly Father. And when you're not resembling your Heavenly Father. So how a lot of times people could tell that there's something different about you because of how you walk out your life and how you contribute, to touch other people's lives some way, somehow. I think that's just amazing to resemble God in a merciful way in little acts and big acts. It could be in different things. So it's not just for big situations. Sometimes you could just be merciful, and sometimes it's just giving somebody an encouraging word when they feel defeated. You know what I mean? Just to give them hope.
That's so good. So would you say, Pastor and Pastorita, that if I'm not following all of these, am I a bad person?
No.
I would say that because there's a verse that talks about that we're not going to be perfect, but we're going to be we'll see perfection as we see Him. that we're all a work in progress. But the problem is are we working on it?
Yeah.
I think that's the goal of this is if you don't turn around and you're not trying to walk these things out and you're just like, I'm pick and choose which one of these I want to do, then you're not in alignment. Because you have to be seeking to walk all of these out. And wherever we fall short, we need to pick up the pace.
Yeah, yeah. And I agree, walking daily towards God
Yeah.
in your relationship. So working on your relationship with God's a daily thing. It's not something where
Spontaneously, yeah.
it's not spontaneous. It's every single day walking towards Jesus and his will. And so, I think
The reason that I asked is because earlier when we started the Beatitudes, I had said that even though I had read them, I didn't know that they were the Beatitudes. But for the listener, I can imagine sitting there for the first time, and hearing this podcast, be like, oh, I don't even know if I'm doing these 8 things. Like, and am I doing them right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for the new listener or for that person that's, he's a baby Christian, like they say.
Yeah.
I would hate for them to think like, wow, I didn't even know this and I wasn't even doing it. And as long as you have the awareness that this is what he asks of you, and then you're trying to become better at it.
Well, I think don't so much focus on them, because I believe if you focus more on your relationship with God
This will come into
daily,
play. Yeah.
that's going to be something that naturally is going to come out of you. In other words, it's going to be part of your character and who you are in Christ as you walk towards him. So it's not something, you're not going to get, it's a daily, like he said, a daily work in progress. You know what I mean? I don't want to use the word work, but it's a daily walk that's in progress.
Yeah.
Towards God. You know what I mean? Because as you daily grow in him, you become more and more mature. And a lot of these the Beatitudes that we're reading will become more natural to you, where you're all of a sudden seeing like, wow, I notice I have more compassion towards people. And oh my gosh, you know what? My conviction is even stronger than before. And now I'm getting convicted for the littlest things, even just to lie. You're getting like, wow, Lord, forgive me for lying, even though people say, oh, it's a white lie.
It's
There's
still
no
a lie.
such thing. It's a lie. So I think it's something that becomes more and more natural the closer you become to God.
Yeah. No, I think because the Beatitudes, I feel like they're sprinkled throughout the Gospels and the Bible in general, but I think it's just neatly packaged here, and specifically on the Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah, and they might pop up when you need them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Without thinking about it, like, oh my gosh, that's, having mercy, God, because you might not have them all in one day, but they'll come up as you need them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
And
God will give you the ability. I'm so sorry, son. God will give you the ability. Like he puts those good things in you, like we learned in the last Beatitude. I believe that he puts that in us. It's in there, but it's as we mature and you'll start seeing it, you'll grow. As you grow you'll start seeing those things come out. I'm so sorry,
No,
son.
you're fine. You're fine. No, because to your question that like, can you be a good person? I think you could be a good person on the outside looking, like, because you could do the right things and people are like, oh, that's such a good person, but their motives could be wrong. So that's something we can't ever really see. That's between them and God. But I think the root for this, or the real reason, is not to be like, oh, so you're a good person, but it's to be alive. Because that's Leonard Ravenhill is like, he has a quote that he says that Jesus didn't come to make bad people good, but he came so that dead people would live. So everyone gets like, oh, am I a good person? Am I doing the right thing? But it's more than that. That's the byproduct. But for these Beatitudes, I'm looking at them now as like, this is, if you were to incorporate these and live these out, that's what it means to be alive.
That is so good. Yeah.
From, God's perspective and what he originally designed. So I think it'd be more than just being a good person.
Yeah,
And
it's having that abundant life.
And how do we live that out?
To show mercy.
Yeah. What does it look like to show mercy?
Yeah.
Is to
In our
have
daily.
compassion, be kind to people, treat them right. And I say just share the word of God as much as you can with them. That would be showing mercy in spite of what they're doing.
Yeah. Showing mercy, showing compassion. I'm trying to
How
think of
about
like
forgiveness, maybe?
forgiveness. I'm trying to think of like a scenario recently where I've been put in that situation.
An example?
Yeah, an example. Because I think
Anybody have one?
Well, I think for
example?
me, when I gave my life to the Lord,
No. An example of when you gave somebody mercy.
like you
when
showed
I gave
mercy.
somebody mercy, let me think about it. I'll say it right now. I actually have one. my brother, because I heard that he did some things to someone that was close to me, and instead of and I was angry, but I put that anger aside and I showed him mercy, and I still love him, and I still help him, even though he doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve, for me, you know, what he did. He didn't deserve any of that, I felt. But I had to put myself aside and honestly let God love him through me. And so by that, I forgave him. And of course, this other person probably hates me because when he found out that I was helping my brother and stuff like that after what he did, he and it was nothing like major, but it was just more of a rage thing. You know what I mean? That he let that rage come out, and he was abusive towards someone. And I don't want to really go into details with it, but I showed him mercy. And I know it was hard for everybody to understand. Why would you even be talking to him? I would have, cut him off, and I would have this. But honestly, I'm not God. Yeah. He's still my family. He's still my brother. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like, he doesn't deserve it. But it goes back to, I look back at my life and the things that I did before I got saved, and the same love and mercy that God showed on me that I didn't deserve, and to love me the way he loves me. How can I not love?
Yeah. Others.
I think it brings up a good point, because I think like how you showing mercy in your brother, the outside, the non-believer, even sometimes a believer will look at you like, how are you not cutting them off? And actually Saturday night, I was in that position where people were telling me like, you need to go do something with this person. And I went in, sat down by this person, and I talked to them like, are you okay? Because they didn't do anything like flippant, but everyone was like, you're condemning him basically and talking bad about this person. And I just went in, I gave him a hug. This person cried. And I know these people saw me give them the hug, and I could probably play what they're saying in their head, like, how could you? But like, I think
I didn't send you in for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
I mean, because they think I'm gonna go in Mr. Macho, but like, they should know me by now. I'm like, I'm not gonna go in unless something of course like happened. But like, I'm looking at the person. I could just see like a little child, and like, that's between them and God though. When people are like, you should have cut them off, you should have done this, like. Those moments where you show mercy is like, what if that's just like the tipping point of like showing God's love to the person, to where like, I get it. I could see God's love, because people think like, oh, God's love's like something like, I can't feel it, but like God works through people sometimes. And I know he's all powerful where he could do it just one-on-one, but like those moments where you giving that person a hug when they're expecting a punch or a lash, like that's I think a powerful moment for us to step into. But I brought up a good point of like how people can easily disagree with mercy.
And they don't understand it.
They can't understand it. And if they were in that boat, they probably want the mercy, but because they're not, they're like condemning the person.
And I think about was it the thief on the cross next to Jesus, the two of them, but how he had mercy on him and compassion, and he forgave him. How he was being crucified alongside with Jesus for what he did for stealing, right? They called him a thief, right? Thief on the cross. Yeah. And you think about something, people would think, oh, he stole and he's getting crucified just because he stole something, or whatever. I don't know how intensified the stealing was, but just and even Jesus just being merciful himself and everything. And then him just, him being crucified, an innocent man, and yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever noticed a season or a time in your life where you didn't receive mercy and you had to reflect to see if you were giving out mercy?
That's a good one.
I know
didn't
it sounds a
receive.
little weird, the question, but I was thinking about this as you guys were talking. I was like, huh, where because he's saying pretty much if you sow it, you're going to get it. But if you're not sowing it and you're not getting it and you realize it and all of a sudden like, hey, I'm not actually walking this thing out. Maybe that's why I'm not receiving it.
Before being saved, I was always questioning, where's my mercy? But I didn't know about it. But I didn't realize that I didn't give it.
Got
either.
it.
So I came to realize, I was like, wait, you don't have any mercy on anybody. How were you supposed to be receiving it? So again, I didn't know about the Beatitudes, but as soon as I was saved, I was like, I got to change my whole life around because what I do and how I think doesn't align with who God is and who he's called me to be. And I've noticed since then, I noticed that a lot of people do show me mercy and I'm very grateful for it. I mean, now that we're talking, I'm like, wow, so many people show me mercy and just because. So I think that I so freely show it. Except those times. There's some times that I don't. But not that I don't show it. It's just that I walk away and I was like, oh, how can people be like that?
Yeah.
But in the moment, I do show the mercy, but I can't help get angry. But yeah, there was a season.
that we could either, poke in at that question or have you ever noticed somebody that doesn't get mercy because they're not giving it? Maybe it's easier to look at somebody else besides ourselves. Maybe it's hard for us to see those seasons. But have we ever come across somebody that it seems like nobody's giving these guys a break, but they don't give nobody a break as well?
But then after reading Lamentations, where he says God's mercies never end.
No, I'm talking of just witnessing the
Person to person.
Yeah, from a person.
I think in my boat, I don't really expect mercy. Like I don't, because if I were to do something wrong, I think of like I deserve whatever's coming. If mercy is shown, then I'm grateful and I know it comes from God. But I think as a Christian, I'm wondering, do we even expect from another human outside of God to show us mercy?
Yeah.
Like in our workplaces, like are we supposed to expect mercy or is it more like whatever chips fall kind of thing?
I don't think it would be something to keep in our minds that we need to expect it because we give it. I don't think that's the way to think. I think that when just having God's love in our life and actively working in our life will just, it's almost like you'll give it and you'll find yourself on the receiving end as well more often than not.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's something we have to look for.
I think I might have phrased it, or maybe what I was trying to say is like, for us to show mercy is one thing, but for us to receive it, especially from non-believers, like I don't think we're almost promised the opposite from Jesus.
Yeah.
He's like, you're going to be persecuted and all this stuff. So it's great. I'm grateful for sure when mercy is shown, but it's one of those things like I don't blame myself for like not showing mercy to someone. Like how you said, if you're not being shown mercy, like to think about, am I not showing mercy to someone kind of thing? So I think of it more of like, it's not a question I think about, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we should think about it because the thought that comes to me, honestly, is Jesus when he was being persecuted and he was standing before the Sanhedrins, the Pharisees, and, when he was being mocked and he was being judged unrighteously, I feel like everybody surrounding him didn't deserve his mercy at all, but yet he was able to still have compassion on them, and still carry the cross and do what he did for us.
Yeah, well,
And so I feel like it's a thought that this is just a thought. Okay. It's not, I don't know, how to say it, but when you think about it, it says, blessed are those who are merciful will receive, was it mercy, right? Will be shown mercy. And I think that every single day, I believe that God shows us mercy because by what he did on the cross. So we're daily walking in that mercy, even though we don't deserve it. And I feel like, and God already knows that, you know what, we're how do you say it? It's not that we choose and we want to, fall or stumble or make mistakes. You know what I mean?
Well, the question.
Go ahead.
Sorry. The question was more of like if you hadn't been shown mercy by someone else, and then does that make you think of like, oh, am I not showing mercy? Or have you seen someone in your life that they're not catching a break, they're not being shown mercy, and like everyone's against them, and it's because maybe they're not showing mercy to other people? Kind of like
Yeah, it's
the
more on
ripple
the
effect.
outside.
No, I know, but to be honest with you, it's probably not something I think about.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think about that.
Then
because-
let me tweak the. Here's another question regarding mercy. Has there anybody, or who is the person that was the biggest struggle to show mercy towards?
That's a good one.
I'll start off.
Okay.
You want us to like name names?
No, it's not. Well, unless they're sitting at the table and you want to cover their identity. No, because one of the persons that I remember showing mercy to, and it was forgiveness. They kind of went hand in hand, but I know it was mercy. Is that my stepdad, when he turned around and like was the most abusive to my mom and this and that. And I went to defend her one day, and then down the road, I asked him to forgive me. And I wasn't expecting him to say, hey, please forgive me. I didn't go into that conversation like that because I knew I was a believer, and I didn't know if he really was at the time, or I didn't think he was. And one of the things that I saw is that he wasn't quick to say, hey, forgive me, son. He didn't. But I saw like a tear well up in his eye, and he gave me a hug and said, I'm sorry. And that was good enough for me. And so we started developing a relationship again. Fast forward, he was about to pass. He turns around and said, I don't want to pass until Tony's by my bedside. And that to me was like the ultimate of him asking for forgiveness. Like, I don't want to leave this earth until I know that you're standing by my side. The one that I've wronged, the one that you saw so much dirt that I dished out on you, your mom, and the family. But I need you by my side before I can go to eternity. And that to me, it like, when I saw that, I would just mercy, like that word hit home for me, because it wasn't like I was looking for that or I needed that to have closure, nothing like that. But I just saw how beautiful that moment was, that I was actually able to be by my stepdad pretty much towards his last breath, because mercy got involved in our relationship. And I was able to, and not that you could enjoy it, but just knowing that it meant something for him, for me to be there when I was the one that wasn't talking to him because I was upset for a season. I didn't want to have anything to do with him. But then seeing the grace of God, soak that relationship to where mercy showed up that day. And it meant like, what? He wants me there? And just that thought that took place, it was just amazing for me to see mercy at work. And real quick, I'll just add one little thing, is he was, and that's why I brought that up, because he was actually one of the hardest that it was for me to forgive and to show mercy towards. So that's why I brought up that story.
No, I was just going to ask you, do you feel like at one point you had delight in showing mercy? Or do you think the whole time it was like...
It wasn't easy, so I don't think I would delight in it. No. Is that what you mean?
I guess. Well, it's just more of like, because you see all the, maybe like past the moment. I don't know where I'm getting at. Well, I know where I'm getting where I want to go, but it's not there yet. But it almost seems like after, like in the moment, it wasn't easy, but then afterwards, now you take delight in knowing that you showed mercy.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think the journey between the forgiveness to the bedside, that was a part where the delight came in. Because as much as the broken little kid inside of me that wanted to hang on to those bad situations, I had to actually put that on the shelf and remember that there was some amazing times. Like to this day, I love to barbecue, and it's because of that man. Because he used to barbecue ribs and all that stuff in the backyard. So he was the only one in my family that I saw barbecue. And because of that, I ended up seeing that there was something beautiful about that, that now when I barbecue and my kids come over to eat, and I'm feeling like that man contributed to that. So that's where a lot of those, now I could focus more on the good And all that bad kind of went out when that forgiveness took place. So I don't really have to look at the bad anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess if that's what you're calling
Yeah.
delight, that's exactly.
Yeah, like the because the
aftermath.
people that come to mind, because there's more than one that come to mind that was really hard to show mercy. But I look back and I'm so grateful for the mercy that the Lord allowed me to show.
Yeah.
Because you think about that verse where it says that he delights in showing mercy.
Yeah.
And then he asks us to show mercy. And in us showing mercy, he shows mercy back to us. Like it's this beautiful circle. Yeah. And I just think about like, it's hard in the moment. But if he takes delight in showing me mercy after everything I've done and continue to do, how much more could we take delight if we really think about it on what we've shown mercy to others? Do you kind of get where I'm going in my head right now? Because I'm thinking about those people and I'm like, but I'm also, the moment of like the pain, I guess, of showing mercy, it's so quickly trumped because I'm like thinking of all the beautiful memories that I made because I showed mercy, just like you said, the barbecuing. And now I'm like, I have so much delight that I'm like, Lord, thank you for not letting me stay in that place of like pain or bitterness or whatever it was. But now I get to like reap fruit from that one little moment of like, I don't want to do this, you know?
Yeah.
But I just think that's really cool.
For me, you're gonna go. So for me, Pastor Tony, I was like, and I hope this doesn't sound arrogant because I'm not trying to be arrogant with it. But the most difficult person for me to show compassion was myself. I didn't know how to forgive myself. I didn't know how to show compassion towards myself. And I didn't know how to be kind to myself. Stupid, you're dumb, you're this, you're that, was constantly out of my mouth, especially when I made the tiniest mistakes. But there's a verse in the Bible that says, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. And I remember when I was saved, I would listen to that a lot because I was like, greater is he that is in me. And I in that moment, I was convicted because I was like, I'm saying that you are not worthy of this, that you are not worthy of God. If you are greater, are you that is in me? I'm like, so that means that if you live in me and I'm saying that I'm worthless, that I'm this, I'm that, I'm saying that he's that. And I took, I was able to start learning to have compassion towards myself. But that freed me to have mercy on other people. So I believe that's what happened because like you said with your stepdad. Mine was my grandmother, my mom's mom. When my mom passed, my grandmother, they said, don't have her here because she never showed forgiveness or kindness to my mom. And I was like, why are you guys allowing that woman? We didn't call her grandma. We said, why are you guys allowing that woman to come in here when we know that mom, they didn't get along. But years later, she lived a long time, my grandmother. And I remember going to visit her because she lived with my aunt. And I remember sitting at the table with her and they said that she couldn't remember that well. And I said, you know who I am, right? And now as soon as I would mention my mom's name, I would say, I'm Elena's daughter. And she would kind of like freeze up. And I said, I just want you to know that no matter what, she still loved you. And at first it was coming out like, I want you to know.
Yeah.
And then as I continued to come in and see her, this compassion overtook me to be like, you're going to be okay too. You're going to be okay. And she would just smile and look at me, and also to my sisters, because my sisters were like, how can you just be so nice? Or you forgot what she did. And it was like, no, I didn't forget what she did, but you need to show this compassion because it was shown to you. But this was obviously after I was saved because it didn't happen before. I didn't know back then. I was like an eye for an eye.
Mary.
Yes, BC. Yeah, so I just
because I think you could almost look at like it might be a vivid picture, but I think when we know we need to show mercy to someone and we choose not to, I almost feel like we want to crucify them in our mind. That's why we don't want to show them mercy. So instead of choosing to, like we said earlier, end up walking in delight because you showed mercy, you want to flog them some more, you want to whip them some more. No, you're going to continually pay for the price for what you did to me. And that's what we're saying every time we say, I'm not choosing mercy yet. I don't want to forgive you yet. I'm going to continue making you pay the price in my own heart until it's sufficient, and then I'll consider giving you mercy. And And I would love to say that that's always before you gave your life to God, but it's not the case. I've met too many people that say they have a relationship with God that have that mentality. And that's a dangerous place to be, because your salvation is actually in jeopardy. Because how are you going to get that mercy that day when you see him face to face? Because you're not showing that mercy.
I think that's a bomb place to wrap it up. Unless someone else had something else to say, because I feel like it went full circle. Because I first brought up about that day of judgment. But I think how you said, Dad, like showing mercy, it allows you to reap the fruits of it, and God always uses it for good. Like how you said, Ruth, like God delights in showing mercy, and it's not in that moment we can see the fruit of it, but years later, for you to choose forgiveness rather than wrath or bitterness and hatred, that, to choose forgiveness, and you'll reap the benefit on this life and the next life. And so we just encourage you to choose mercy, and even when it's not easy, because that's maybe sometimes when it's the most powerful. So we'll see you guys, and we'll see you next week. And love you guys.